If you're a fan of the Alien franchise, Alien Romulus is the return to form we've all been waiting for. It feels like this movie finally brought the Alien series back to its roots, back to the dark corridors, the claustrophobic spaces, and the pure, unfiltered terror that made the original 1979 Alien so iconic. From the opening scenes, you can feel the tension slowly building, and there's this underlying sense of dread that just never lets go. Every creaking floor, every flickering light, and every shadow lurking in the background feels like it's hiding something ready to strike. What really stood out to me was how Alien Romulus manages to bridge the gap between the first Alien movie and Aliens in a way that feels natural and exciting. The story picks up after the xenomorph was ejected into space at the end of Alien, and it shows how the Weyland Corporation, being the greedy and power-hungry company they are, managed to get their hands on the alien. And of course, they don't just study it. They start mass-producing xenomorphs. That idea alone opens up so many possibilities, and it raises the stakes right away. You know, the moment Weyland gets involved, things are going to spiral out of control, and that's exactly what happens. The film captures that sense of corporate greed and scientific arrogance that has always been part of the Alien universe, and it's terrifying because it feels so real. The cast was fantastic. Seriously, everyone brought their A-game. Cailee Spaeny as Rain Carradine absolutely killed it. She's not your typical action hero. She's vulnerable, scared, but at the same time, she's smart and resourceful. You can feel her fear and desperation, but you also see her strength come through when it matters most. David Jonsson as Andy, the android, had this fascinating presence. He kind of reminded me of Bishop from Aliens, but with a different kind of energy. He's not just there to help. He has his own story, his own layers. And the supporting cast, Archie Renault, Isabella Merced, Spike Fearn, Aileen Wu, they each had moments that made you care about them. That's rare in horror movies. Usually you know who's going to get picked off and you don't care. But here, you do care. That makes the horror scenes hit so much harder. Speaking of the horror, man, the sequences in this movie were incredible. I'm talking genuine tension, not just jump scares for the sake of it. The way the movie builds atmosphere is brilliant. There are scenes where it's just so quiet and you know something is about to happen, but you can't tell when or how, and when it does, it's shocking. Some scenes reminded me of Aliens with that fast-paced survival team vibe, especially when the characters are working together to fight back. But then there are other moments that take you right back to Alien. The dark corridors, the sound of the air vents hissing, the xenomorphs stalking in the background. You feel trapped with the characters, and that's what makes the scares so effective. The set design and visuals were next level. The abandoned space station felt like a character in itself. It's dirty, decaying, and full of secrets, exactly the kind of place where you'd expect something horrible to happen. The lighting, the sound design, the way the camera moves through those tight spaces,
What's happening?
It all works together to make you feel like you're there. And the xenomorphs themselves, they look amazing. The practical effects and CGI blend so seamlessly.
Fucking thing's hunting us.
The design sticks to that classic all-known fear, but with some subtle updates that make them. Another thing I really appreciated is how Alien Romulus respects the legacy of the franchise. There are little details, Easter eggs, and callbacks to the earlier films that fans will absolutely love. But at the same time, it doesn't just rely on nostalgia, it builds its own story. It introduces new characters, a fresh setting, and raises the stakes in a way that makes you excited for where the series could go next. It's not just rehashing the same formula, it's expanding the universe in a way that feels both familiar and new.
You know I don't.
That's not easy to do, but Alien Romulus pulls it off. Honestly, I think Alien Romulus is one of the best entries in the Alien franchise in a long time. It's thrilling, it's terrifying, and it leaves you wanting more.
Fucking thing's hunting
It
us.
captures the heart of what Alien is all about: survival. Fear,
What's happening?
and unknown. If you're a longtime fan, you're going to appreciate how it ties together. And if you're new to the series, this is a perfect starting point to get hooked on the Alien universe. Either way, I highly recommend watching this movie, ideally in a dark room with the volume cranked up, because that's the best way to experience it. So that's my take on Alien Romulus. Let me know what you thought in the comments.